Hello everyone, good morning from the northwest of England. It's Samantha here again with another video with some really cute little earrings this time, or indeed you can make these as pendants. Aren't these cute? I posted these little guys up on my community page and it seems that you guys really would like to know how to make these. Really great for the beginner as well, not too complicated, and you only need a few ingredients. I call them ingredients. I can't cook, so I think I like to call these ingredients. Makes me feel better about the fact I can't cook. Anyway, can't be good at everything, can we? So I don't know about you, but I have amassed quite a collection of different beads over the years, and this is just a tiny little fraction of these little check glass drop beads that I've managed to collect over a period of years, and they're really cute for making things like little flower earrings. So I thought we'd have a look at these today. I've also, actually somebody asked me in one of the posts whether you could make these with round beads. I had a go, because I've only made them with the drop beads, I had a go at making them with the rounds and the rondelles. Now I will say that you can make them with round beads, just doesn't have quite the same effect as the drop ones, I don't think. Do you think? I don't know. Not quite the same effect. I think the hole in the centre is larger. However, that does mean that you can pop a central bead and actually make it look more like a flower. So, you know, these kind of designs are so open to interpretation, and you can do what the heck you like with them and do anything really. I mean, how beautiful is that? Beautiful little pendant. Really neat on the back side. Okay. And one without the little central. So I mean, yeah, you can use other beads. The principle is exactly the same. I even made this one with large drop beads, which I think looks really sweet actually. And I made this one just as a sample with 4mm. So yeah, you can make them with different beads, but today I'm going to be using these lovely check drop beads, and we'll go ahead and make these. So let's have a look at what we need for our ingredients. So basically, you're going to need some soft 0.4mm copper wire, or any wire of your choice as long as it's soft. Don't have it too hard, because when we're doing the wrapping in between, it benefits from being soft, because it's almost like using like a thread kind of thing. So you'll know what I mean when we get going. You'll need a pair of chain nose pliers, a pair of round nose pliers, and a pair of flush cutters for obvious reasons. You're obviously going to need some drop beads. So today we're going to make the partner to this one, which my daughter has asked for me to make for her friend, which I'll happily do. So go ahead and raid your stash, these kind of drop beads, or like I said, your massive collection of drop beads. Have a look what you've got. You're going to need 6 for each piece, so either 6 for a pendant or 12 for a pair of earrings. Okay, so I'll clear the table away and we'll get going. See you in a second. Okay guys, so here we are. Let's get going on this, shall we? So you're going to need to cut yourself about 70 centimeters, 28 inches, something like that, 28 inches of your 0.4mm wire. As always, I'll put the equivalents in the description box below for you. And you start to put on 6 of your little drop beads. If I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so just thread these little beads onto your wire. Like so. Okay, so they're all on there. What you need to do is bring them down to the centre of your wire, or thereabouts. Okay, so I'll try and do this on camera so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, and then what you need to do is bring up your first little bead right up to the top Okay, and thread, you spec the other part of the wire, the other side of the wire through. So essentially you're crossing the wires over, okay, like so. You see that? Then you just basically just pull equally, so you've got the same amount of wire on each side, give or take. And pull, 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 okay, until you have this kind of affair going on, okay. So what you're aiming for really is to have a little bit of a gap in between each bead, but not too much obviously, so it wants to look a little bit like that. You see that? Okay, so holding your beads flat in between your finger and your thumb, and to pull this one round the back so that the two meet, like so. And then bend that over the top and pop the two wires through the centre hole. Now this bit can be a bit tricky to start with until you get going, so trust the process. And trust me when I say it gets a little easier as you're going along. Okay, so pop that wire through and making sure that the wire doesn't kink up and get a bend in it. Okay, so this is what we have here. Okay, so what I like to do is, can you see how those beads are just dangling a little? What I like to do is to do 2 passes over each, in between each bead, okay, on this first rotation. So pop both wires through and pull, and then bend the wire to the back in between each bead. Okay, pass through the center. Obviously all the time making sure that these wires don't kink up, because if they do, it's a nightmare and you don't want that. Okay, so keep going and popping the wire through the center. Just use your finger or your thumb just to ensure that those wires don't kink up. Okay, can you see? So that's 2. Bend over the back of the bead. Oops. Through the center. Keep going. Pull that taut between those 2. Through the center again. Okay, keep doing that until you've made 1 rotation. So you can either watch me doing it, breathe through the camera, or you can just forward this little section here if you choose. So pull in between, keeping things nice and taut. Do this twice in between each bead on this first rotation. All the time sort of squeezing the beads, okay, round the back of this one. All the time squeezing the beads with your thumb and your finger just to make sure that everything stays flat and tidy. Okay, so I hope you can see how this is working. Put the wires through the center hole. Okay, and pull them around the back and in between through the center. Okay, and one last time. Okay, so that's your first pass through, your first rotation, should I say. So can you see how that's working? Okay. So what I like to do at this particular stage is to, instead of doing 2 wraps, I do 1, just to see how it looks. And then if you want a little bit more wire on show, you can go ahead and do another rotation. So, okay, so that's, and if you wanted to, just eyeball it, you know, so I think perhaps that's fine. Wind it over the back of the bead, pop it through. Over the back of the bead. So can you see what I mean now, that the more you do this, the easier it is. That first rotation is a little problematic, mainly because your beads are quite loose. If your wire gets twisted, just faff around with it, which is here. And if it really does get twisted, just pull the guys out, tidy them up. This happens to every expert. I'm joking, I'm not an expert. There we go. Okay, that's better. And then just pull each individual wire if you have to. Just keep things nice and tidy. Around the back, through the centre, around the back, and through the centre again. So you just basically just keep doing this until you're happy with the way it looks. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I'll go round again, I think, so make sure it matches the other earring. So again, through the centre. See how much easier it is when you've been round a couple of times, okay? On the back of that bead, through the centre again. So just keep going until you're happy. And this is what the back looks like. So it looks like a little sort of whirlwind type. Is that, there you go. Okay, that's the back and that's the front. So I'll just, I think I'm on number 5. And back through for the last one. And I think I'll be satisfied with that. Okay, so that's your wrapping done. Okay, so can you see how pretty that looks? Okay, so what you just do is just make sure that it matches the other one, which I think it does. Okay, so now we have to create our little hoop loop thing here. Okay, so this is where we come in with our round nose. Right, so for me, I do it this particular way. You can experiment and see how you'd like to do it, but this is the way I do it. So I come in with my round nose around about here. Okay, because you want this little chap, this little hoop, to sit just in between the petals. Okay, and I wrap like so. Okay, and then I wrap around a couple of times. And then there you have your little loop. So it depends on yourself how you finish this off at the back. I tend to just snip it and then tuck the little ends in. Entirely up to you how you do this, because I find that even though this wobbles slightly, it doesn't make an awful lot of difference when it's actually on an ear wire. So I'm sure there are many ways to do this part, but this is the way I do it because I like simple and I don't like anything complicated. And if it's on a pendant, then I'll wrap it round in between the beads a couple of times just to make it a bit more secure. But you know what? Simplicity is key. So I just tuck these guys in between. There we are. Okay, and straighten this guy up a little, and there you have it. That's it. Doesn't have to be super secure, that, as long as it's secure enough to, you know, withhold your ear wire. And that's all you have to do now, is to pop an ear wire on, which I've already made, and open that up, pop your little flower on, and there you have it. There is your pretty summery springy flower earrings made from little drop beads. Okay, so there we are. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up for me. It's really nice to see everyone here, and I hope you enjoy making these little cuties. And let me know in the comments how you get along, okay? So I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.